Hi everyone. Thanks. Welcome to CDR, where you've already been here for a bit, but welcome to the talk part of it. Thanks for coming out on a cold, wintry evening. Can anyone put a hand up if it's their first CDR? Oh, quite a lot of... Oh, wow, you too. Okay. Quite a lot of new faces. I'm guessing they're here for you. So if you don't know, CDR is a community event. It's always free. It's where producers, music makers, artists come, get to play their music on a brilliant sound system like Corsica, soon to be rest in peace, or hopefully it'll come back. And it's also a chance, as well as you guys, to mingle and network with each other, kind of get an insight into an artist where we do a talk, we get into their production process, their journey, and like a little bit into what made them the artists that they are today. Today I'm very excited to introduce an artist who was born in China, went to Vancouver to study, got into electronic music and now lives in London. And we're going to get a little bit into the influences of, and maybe how it gave her a different pathway into music making. She's a self-proclaimed outsider of electronic music. And I want to kind of get into that and delve into that a little bit. But please, everyone, give it up for Yusu. That is the trains. That's Corsica Studios, the realness,
never
where
here.
the trains go.
Because I was loud in here.
You've probably only been here when it's like... You must have DJed here a few times, right?
Yeah. Throughout the years. Maybe it was one of my first gigs in London was here.
It's a lot of people's first gig. It's an amazing club.
Yeah, definitely.
So can we start at the beginning? And because I want to kind of get into the self-proclaimed outsider title. So I'm assuming a lot of that is to do with your upbringing, being raised in mainland China and maybe not coming to certain musical influences that you're now a part of. Can you talk about those kind of early years and the steps into music making?
Sure. Early year was just being forced to study classical piano, as a lot of kids coming from East Asia, since quite a young age. So growing up, it was just Bach, Debussy, 2 hours a day.
From what age were you learning?
From 4 until 17.
Yeah. That's hardcore.
Yeah, so classical music was basically, it took up a lot of my years. Mm-hmm. And other than that, it was mostly just whatever everyone else listens to, Chinese pop music, which now looking back, it was really good at the time because, the 90s, 2000, the Chinese pop was influenced by Western pop at that time. So, the really good R&B. So I think that had really good influence on me, even though I wasn't aware, or I was never aware until maybe recently.
And is that what you were listening to, or you were listening to Bach and Debussy?
Yeah, mostly. So not so much Western music. My mom bought me a Britney Spears CD when I turned 17. And it was the one with her and Madonna making out.
Okay, yeah.
In the Zone, maybe, one of those. It was called VCD, not DVD, because it was bootleg.
Yeah.
So we put it on because she wanted me to learn English. So that was like the first Western.
Here's Britney and Madonna kissing. Learn English.
Exactly. So that was it. That was that. And then I think maybe some friends showed me Justice just before I moved to Canada. That was it. Yeah. That was very, very, very beginning of what Western music. Yeah.
We'll talk about Canada and how the scene there had a big impact on on you entering DJing and production, but obviously you were learning it, doing lessons, but were you writing and making music in those early years?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Just learning the form, I guess.
Just, 2 hours every day.
Was it enjoyable, or was it like just something that you had to do because of parents?
It wasn't, for the most part. Because, you're just studying music that you don't quite understand.
Yeah.
Until, she accidentally bought me some sheet music from Yuichi Sakamoto.
Legend.
When I was in middle school. She had no idea who he was. I think the person at the bookstore, because she was complaining about me being rebellious. So maybe the person at the shop just said, why don't you let her learn something like this? So she did, but I didn't know who he really was at the time neither. I just remember, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence being really beautiful and way easier to play.
Yeah.
So, that was it.
And then the move to Vancouver was to study?
To go to business school, but it obviously wasn't my thing. I was always interested in literature. She was really good at encouraging me to read. She bought me Borges books, which at that time was probably quite hard to get, the good translated versions. So then I got to uni. Business school was horrible, very depressing. So then I went to the Anthropology Museum one day without knowing what anthropology was. Got fascinated by the indigenous textiles and ceramics, all this stuff. So I just immediately switched.
Oh, you switched your course?
Yeah, I switched my course without telling my family. I photoshopped my degree when I graduated. And they still have like a framed business degree at home.
Smashed it.
Yeah, now they know. But
yeah. It's fine. You've got a successful career now, so
they're like, oh yeah, whatever. You're good. You're okay. But yeah, I got into anthropology, and through that, kind of met more interesting friends who I could, have more things in common with. And that was how the first party experience happened.
I mean, I feel like a lot of your music focuses on, I wouldn't say anthropology, but like identity and sort of like how music places within cultures. Would you think that the education has an impact on your music? Or
I think so, because I've always wanted to study ethnomusicology. I still do. I almost went and did a PhD during COVID, but I didn't. So I would still go back and do that, because I mean, these two things are also very similar practices. You're working with archival materials. As a DJ, you are as well. As a producer, you are as well. You're working with materials. And it's, for the most part, quite an introvert environment. Like mentally, it's quite introvert as well.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be also very obsessive and chaotic.
Yeah.
But you're meant to be organized, which is, I think, every DJ is quite chaotic.
Yeah.
Even though you're meant to be the most organized with your music.
Paradox in itself.
Exactly.
We talked, and in a few of your interviews, you talked about this one, I guess, transformative night where you basically went to your first club night, and that sort of, I guess, set you on the journey of where you are now. Can you tell us about that night?
So some friends from school took me to this party in Vancouver. So at the time, this was before Moodhut was Moodhut. They had another party called Love Dancing. So I've never been to any party in my life previously.
How old were you?
20, maybe 20.
You'd never been to anything that resembled a nightclub?
No, I mean, it's just like stuff at school.
School discos.
But it's completely, I have no context at all. So I went with them. So still, like, my English was still not so perfectly fluent. I had no idea what anything was. So they were like, it's gonna be fun, let's go. So I went, and then I also remember before going there, when they were getting ready, they left to go to some corner, and then they came back
to do drugs.
Yeah, and then I was like, they seem a bit different.
Yeah.
But I was like blank paper with
you had
any
no
of
idea.
this context of drug culture, nothing. So I just went with them, and I couldn't even drink at the time.
Yeah.
And we went into this
very rude. They didn't offer you.
I know. I mean, they were probably just like, whoa, we can't scare her.
Yeah.
So we went to this dark room. It was Sam Floating Point playing with the Moodhut guys.
An amazing DJ to
in like a
break
100...
your clubbing.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. That was my first experience, because we could have
Imagine if it was a terrible DJ. You might never have done what you did.
I think so, because I would just be like, shitty sound system, everything. I'll be like, what is this? This is not for me. I'll stick with classical music.
Yeah.
So we went in there. It was quite a confusing experience for a long time, because it was like one of those very like underground party, so everyone was high. I was probably the only sober person. Yeah. So I just felt everyone was on a different frequency, but I couldn't figure out why, and I couldn't understand, and the music. So then I was like, okay, I'm confused. Like, I'm kind of nervous as well, because it's dark. It's dark, it's loud. So I couldn't hear what anyone's saying to me. So I was...
And also it being your second language.
Yeah, so I was just in like a very uncomfortable environment. So then I was like, okay, I guess the only thing I can do is to focus on listening to this music. So I started listening to the music. And that was confusing as well, because I couldn't put any of the music in any context. I couldn't really understand it, because I couldn't tell where it's from, when is it made, because it was one of those long sets Sam was playing, so he just went
everywhere.
all over the place. So I was confused, and I had to stay till the end, because no one would leave with me. I was too scared to leave on my own.
But was it enjoyable? It sounds like...
I think at the end I was just so tired. I almost fell asleep just standing there. I couldn't even dance, because I didn't know how. I was like standing there observing the room. But then at the end of the night, I think I got really into the music, and that was when I met everyone from Moodhut, and I was so just fascinated by the music, and it just triggered this massive curiosity. So at the end, when I was introduced to them, I just asked what this is, and I just told them. I was like, I think maybe I can do this too. Maybe I can make music.
So from that first one night,
it was just that night, I was like, I should try this. This seems fascinating. That's it. So then I met them. They started showing me some records. Yeah, I remember the first time touching a record. It was really funny. I was just laughing at them, it's like, this is like old people stuff. I was just so clueless at the time.
As well as going today into some of your own productions, you're going to go through some of the songs, I guess, that like set you on the path. So
exactly.
Like, what do you have a first song from?
So the first electronic dance music record that I was shown was Larry Hurt, Lucky Me. And this was the first record I was given. Oh, it's not playing. It's from Alien record, the red one.
think Larry Heard deserves a round of applause.
Yeah. So this was...
So you get given this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I want to do this.
So then I just listened to it again and again, especially this track, trying to understand how to do it. So they showed me how Ableton works, the simple stuff.
Who's they?
The
the
Moodhut
Moodhut
guys,
yeah.
Jack and Liam, Penner Three Steppers. And because I have piano background.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that difficult for me to figure out myself how the composition works, because what to me is very similar. It's the chord progression and these how rhythms work, because this because Chicago house, this kind of stuff was more it was quite accessible for a musician to understand, because there's
what you're saying is simple.
Yeah, it's...
Which isn't at all a bad thing. It's not.
No,
at all.
Exactly. And so, this was my introduction, because it has to start from somewhere that I could relate more. So it makes a lot of sense that was the music I was making at the beginning, because I was trying to understand and learn to make music that sounds like this.
Yeah.
So my first record was very kind of Chicago house influence, and very warm pad, kind of like this. So this was my reference point at that point. And I remember being shown Jeff Mills, and it was just chaos to me.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Is too loud, it's too dark. I don't get it. And also,
as well as obviously starting to, I guess, study in a way, certain things. One thing that you said, which is really interesting, is and why I said, I think someone laughed when I said Chicago house is simple, and I said it's not necessarily a bad thing, but one thing that you said when we spoke last week or something was music has no hierarchy. It's all to do with context.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
what can be very simple music in the right context is the best, the best type of music.
It's all context.
Yeah.
And I think especially with dance music, the more complex, let's say, quote unquote complex subgenres, it probably do require more experience of actual physical context of where you are when you listen to it, and also the context or your listening experience, your knowledge of it. Because I'm the perfect example. I couldn't understand techno, jungle, any of those things. So when I first started DJing as well, so at the same time as producing, the first proper gig I played with was opening for band UFO in Vancouver.
Not a bad first gig.
So, well, of course, I think I just got really lucky every stage of the progress.
What a path.
Just with the right people, learning from the right people at the right time. And I remember, because I had no idea what Hassel Audio was neither. And when friends had shown me music on there, I also couldn't understand. I was just like, none of these melody makes sense. I was like, I would hear something, I'd be like, that's the wrong note. They played the wrong note. It's wrong, because I'm always thinking about it from a classical piano background, where it's about the structure. It's very strict. So I couldn't understand that kind of music, so I didn't even like it. I remember I was like, yeah, this is good.
Did you have to do a lot of unlearning? You spent so long learning, you almost have to unlearn to get out of maybe the classical training.
Or maybe the more I learned, because it's so interesting and there's so much there, the more I learn, it just takes over all this previous knowledge and the natural intention I would have when it comes to making music. So that really helped, and also learning more about production. How do you write music? Like how, because dance music, like this, especially this kind of simple stuff, and then also with minimal music that we can talk about later. The more simple, the more difficult to make, because when you have space in a piece of music, everything has to have the exact
intention,
and it has to work. Otherwise, the whole thing is ruined.
Yeah. You said that your first record was quite Chicago house based. Is there something you can play from?
No, I don't want to listen to
Oh, okay, sorry. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's old. You're like, it's not good anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's still really good. But a lot of the early releases, I mean, you've moved quite a lot to like ambient to more dancey stuff. Is that because you started DJing, spending more time in clubs, and you connected with it more, or?
Yeah, I think so. So like every record I've released have all been quite different in many ways, but still similar. Because for me, it's all about what I've discovered that's new to me, and that gave me completely new inspiration. So I'll make something that's influenced by that. So from Chicago house, so introduction to house, and then I discovered experimental music from memory, which
brilliant label.
Yeah, which was who I released the next record with, because of all that whole world of like 70s, 80s, 90s left field experimental, especially a lot of stuff from places outside of European, UK countries. Those were fascinating. So I switched from that to this more sound designing, down-tempo stuff. Because of some records as well.
I think I asked you like whether you thought it was a disadvantage not knowing the context of electronic music that maybe veteran producers and DJs do. And I think anyone who's seen your DJ sets, they're so eclectic because they draw from different eras and styles. And you actually said that you felt it was an advantage because you were coming, I guess, with a clean slate of what to draw from.
Yeah, I think so. Because, not knowing a lot, it does make you more free, because nothing, I would never consider anything that might necessarily be the most massive thing in 2005, where it's outdated to some people. That won't affect me because I just don't know.
Discovered it.
Yeah, like I don't know, because like when I discovered Soax fantasy records, which was only 4 or 5 years ago, I had no idea who they were. So I played that kind of music from the 2000 in my set, and it doesn't matter because to me it sounds good and it makes sense, nothing is cheesy, because like we said, it's all context.
Yeah. So I kind of want to get into some of the influence of the people that you discovered and played. Like what have you got next that you're going to play for us? Is it?
I think it's this record that we can't see. How do you spell her? How do you pronounce her name? Lori Spiegel. Lori Spiegel. Probably some of you know her record. She was like the pioneer in like the West Coast modular, surge modular, all that stuff. So this was the time with music from memory.
So what era is this? Like what year?
I think she made it in the early 80s.
Okay. Wow.
So this and Terry Riley, John Cage, Don Cherry, this was all
Kind of minimalism.
Yeah, so this was all after, the introduction to dance music and with all the music from memory stuff. So I remember hearing their music at the beginning, now thinking about the classical piano background, it makes sense too that I was drawn to this kind of music because they were all very influenced by non-Western music. So the scale to me sounds very pentatonic. It's very Eastern, and very much related to Debussy as well. Because then it turns out, of course, there's a relationship between how Debussy and Satie, these guys, were kind of the pioneer of experimental music because of the minimalism in this kind of music and the polyrhythms, which was all influenced by Javanese gamelan and, African music, anything that's not, like European. So this stuff was so fascinating to me because, I kept hearing something where I thought would be made by a Japanese person or something, and every time it's always a European composer. I was like, how did these people know how to write this kind of music? So I was fascinated by it, and then learning a lot about it, reading about it.
I guess this is where the kind of ethnography and anthropological lens on this music is
so I was trying
plays a part.
Yeah, exactly. So I was trying to make connections of what it is, and then also making connections between them and Yellow Magic Orchestra. So then learning about this, how much Eastern music has shaped experimental music since the beginning, since classical music time.
Do you think you focus on this because you're East Asian yourself and your own heritage?
It definitely has something to do with that because it's familiar. It's a familiar kind of scale. It's in your blood. So that's why I wrote the first album and the one before the EP on Second Circle for Music from Memory was all kind of like a response to learning about this part of history and writing music that sound very Oriental as a way to almost not making fun, but I think it's just kind of like a critical response to it. Because I think that's what YMO was doing in the 80s as well. They were almost like self-orientalizing themselves to, you make what the West thinks what your sound should be, but then you make it with technology that's from them. Yeah. So, you hear, this Oriental craftwork sound. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to do. And also like hearing Laurie Anderson's music for the first time as well. So that whole world was also quite mind-blowing to me. Peter Gabriel, these guys, because I learned about the synthesizers they were using, the Fairlight Emu, which I got to touch.
Yeah.
One recently at Peter Gabriel Studio in Bath.
But that was like the first one of the first like samplers,
computer
right?
sampler,
digital samplers.
It was not working.
Yeah, it's broken. I mean, it's pretty old.
Completely broken.
I've just seen videos on YouTube. It looks like
mad.
It's huge. It's like
it's a mad computer. So yeah, Laurie Anderson's record, Mr. Heartbreak, was really influential because of, she was using these made-up language in it, and the use of Fairlight, all the samples in there was just so interesting because it just samples sound from all over the world. Yeah. So you can't put your hands on where it's not there. That's why it's the fourth world, because it's not there. It doesn't exist. And this was the same time I don't know why everything all happened like at the same time, at the right time.
Yeah.
I started reading Ursula Le Guin's novel writing. She writes sci-fi novels, but also in this very anthropological way, where it's, you know, about ecology. It's about just really magic, kind of esoteric influence, but very in between and very fluid. Everything's fluid.
Yeah.
So this whole thing and literature had big impact on me for that time.
Yeah. What else have you got to play for us?
What was it? Well, the Laurie Anderson. Do you want to hear a little bit from it? Because
Bit of Laurie Anderson?
you know, you see what I mean? This creating a world.
I watch it move. I watch it shine. Yamano, what does she know? Sakebi, what does she know? Koyama, you shall know. Kokoku, what does she want? Sokoni, what does she want? Asobo, they say the dead will rise again.
Yeah, this record is amazing because my album Yellow River Blue, a lot of the stuff was made with Fairlight plugins. Because I wanted to also have all these kind of sound, and also using a lot of Korg M1, which is all what Peter Gabriel uses. Yeah. So yeah,
it's funny, you do a lot of sort of drawing lines between
the anthropology. When you study anthropology, that's all you do. You make connections.
Because even you were talking about Soul Wax, and I know you talked about like Optimo and all these kind of DJs that maybe they don't just play just dance music. They draw comparisons from, you know, Talking Heads and rock music and post-punk and all these different things. And it feels like you maybe just through a naive discovery of this from someone who until you were 20 didn't know any about it. So there's no barriers for you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I could play a Soul Wax remix after like the Slits or something. Yeah. It would be fine because I wouldn't think it's not right. Yeah. Because nothing also with DJing, when you're on stage, you know, especially if it's the right contact with the right crowd, your job is to tell a story that they're there to be led by you. Yeah. That's your role, is to be able to make them feel a whole story the way they wouldn't feel usually, because otherwise then they don't need you.
And can you talk about how all these different influences and discoveries played into you and your own personal music making?
Well, with music making, it would just be as simple as I'm just always going to be making music that sound like it's quite slightly different styles. Yeah. Because that's a direct response to what I'm listening to at the moment. What's the new thing I'm obsessed with? Which currently is minimal and dub techno, which I didn't understand before. Like I remember when, you know, the Moodhut guys were PLO Man, who's an amazing DJ when it comes to this kind of deep stuff. The first time he showed me a Ricardo track, I was like, turn it off. I was like, what is this? Why nothing changes? It's just the same thing again, again, again. Like, what's wrong with this person? And this was, of course, also before I discovered drug culture that's around it. And now I understand with the context and the experience, certain music.
It's gotta be 7 a.m. It's gotta be
exactly
pretty high.
So it's all context. It
Yeah.
really is all context, and
I think you can say that for like almost any genre, right? Like
I think so.
like some people say that, like, you know, grime music, but like if you've been in a grime rave and you've seen the energy,
Exactly.
doesn't matter if it's 2 notes as the bass line and it's just
Yeah.
simple stripped back drums. It's like,
And speaking of that, like the first time, well, the moment I understood drum and bass and jungle was when I saw Goldie play at Glastonbury this year. Because I was just like, this is so hectic. What the hell? And then, but being there, hearing that kind of music on that sound system and seeing the people around you. Because other people's behavior influence how you experience anything as well. So I understood it, and I was like,
yeah,
I can't listen to this at home still.
yeah. You still can't.
No,
Okay.
not yet. Who
It will
knows?
come.
Maybe 10 years from now, I'll be making that.
Maybe.
Or yeah.
Can we hear some of your music?
I don't think I sent
I
any.
think.
I don't want to listen to that one.
You don't want to listen to your music?
It's so old. But it's also, we've already gone past the fourth world music. Maybe, well, we can hear a little bit of the new record, the new single, because I'm really interested in talking about minimal techno right now. Is my
that's
big
fine.
obsession.
Do you not like listening to your own music?
No, because I think, because once you've made something, you put it out, it's kind of like, wow. I was going to say it's like maybe like giving birth to a child, where you're no longer having this like it's in my body to like, you can go, it's your world. Maybe it's a bit similar. Well, I haven't given birth, so I don't know. But I just like, once it's out, well, maybe, okay.
Yeah, maybe, but baby's not the right.
Yeah, maybe
once
not.
it's out, but forget about it.
Bye-bye.
It's gone.
Maybe not that, but
I know what you mean.
But maybe it also makes sense in my scenario, because now I'm on to the next style of music.
Yeah.
So it's like not so interesting anymore to me what I was making 3 years ago. It literally isn't so interesting to me anymore. Like now I listen back to it, I was like, I'm not really interested.
Do you think it's just because your taste and your interest in a different place, or is it a thing where you're still on a learning process?
Exactly.
And then
I think so.
what you're doing now, because you're 3 years on in terms of like knowledge and production level, because so many people hate their first records because they just hear the mistakes and what they could do better now. Is that what you think it is?
It's not about that. I think it is about, I'm just currently interested in something else, and I'm just obsessed with a different sound. Yeah. So all I can think of is this. Like I could sit here and listen to Luciano Ricardo record all day, where it's like 20 minutes of the same loop.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so interesting. How can I make this?
You've pulled out. I tried. We're gonna make you listen to at least play one of your songs, but you pulled out an Eric Satie song that you wanted to play, which I didn't know about today. Can you give it a little bit of background on this piece, because I actually didn't know about it and the way it's meant to be performed, and a bit of context on this.
So it's called Vexation. It was a piece that was published after he died. I'll talk while it plays, because it's a very simple, it's one sheet of music, and he wanted, when he finished writing this, let's listen to it first.
And then it loops.
It loops and loops and loops and loops, and you're supposed to play it 840 times.
840 times.
So, and he wrote this before he died, and the paper was only was published because of John Cage.
Mm-hmm.
He went and dug through his archive and found this. So the first time it has ever been played in public was because of John Cage.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, he gathered a bunch of people
And when performed in full, it's meant to be like 18, 20 hours long.
18 hours long. John Cale was one of the guy who was part of this. This was before he started the Velvet Underground. Super cool. So
It's pretty cool. John Cage and John Cale playing this piece that was almost like an Easter egg, like a hidden composition
and then if
that
you
had to be played at 840 times.
Yeah, I mean, maybe part of me think he just didn't want this piece to be in public sphere because, you know, if you think about that, that's you're playing this for yourself. If you can concentrate and do it for this long, in the ideal scenario he designed this piece for. So the reason I want to share this is because when you go home and listen to this again, this composition, it has no end. The way he writes it, it has no end. It's just suspending, which really. So now I have to thank my classical music background because this helped me to understand minimal music.
So it took 18 hours of Eric Satie for you to understand Villa-Lobos.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But so same thing with the Terry Riley stuff because it's all connected.
Yeah.
Everything's connected. That's why there's no. But that's also going back to us saying there's no genre hierarchy because everyone is influenced by each other.
Yeah.
So this, you know, after listening to this and thinking about how this kind of the original minimalism works, and then you listen to a minimal record, it does make sense even without the drugs 7 a.m. context, because it's no longer about, it's not about the structure anymore. It's not about having like something going up and down, having drops, being big for something to sound big.
Rises and
Yeah. It sometimes things can sound the biggest when it's just there. Because then you start to listen or you start to hear all the little things in something quite simple, and loops start to make sense, and loops start to loop itself, and things start morphing into each other. Well, the good minimal music. And then you can hear the little tiny polyrhythms in it as well. It doesn't have to be complex. Yeah, because...
And so you now drawing Reich and you know, these kind of composers into the music you're making now?
Yeah, because I'm in the last year I've just been so fascinated by minimal, and the way I discovered also wasn't because someone made me stay till 10 a.m. In Ibiza or something.
Yeah.
Well, that happened too, which didn't make me like this music more. I was just like, this is just shit. But then
you didn't like when you were up
no,
at 8 a.m. listening to
well,
minimal?
I think when you're partying with the wrong people, good music sound bad.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
Because drug only can help this much.
Yeah.
The whole aura of a room is important as well.
Yeah.
But then, you know, when I start going to Houghton, like, or playing with DJing with people who know how to play this kind of music, that really helped me understand.
Yeah.
Like seeing Craig Richard play and Zip.
Amazing.
That's how I discovered Perlon record. So the first Perlon record I listened to was Luciano. And I remember hearing it, and I told a friend, I was like, do you know who Luciano is? And then he was just like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
It's so outdated and cheesy. I was like, what do you mean? Like, listen to this music. Because the first record I heard from him, I thought it was some like niche 90s Japanese ambient techno. Can I play it?
Yeah, play it.
It's so mind-blowing.
Zip's playing this Saturday at Fold, actually.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
This is 15 minutes long, so we can listen to a bit.
You guys can go home and listen to full length. I expect you all to listen to the 20 hours of Eric Satie when you get home. I think what I find really... you told me that, like, you don't know 90% of the music that everyone else knows because I guess you weren't exposed to it from the age of 20. But I think if there's anything that I've really enjoyed talking with you about this and the time we spoke on the phone is I think that it's actually giving you a really interesting perspective because one, there's like a clean slate, but also there's no preconceptions and the parallels you've drawn to all these different influences into your own music is really interesting. I'm sure there's been like, I mean, you've almost focused on the negative of like when people will be like, I can't believe you like this thing. It's like, but there must have been some like really beautiful moments where people have played your music and you're like, what is that? You know, and that being like quite, you know, there's obviously this first night at Moodhut and stuff, but is it been through peers, this discovery? Is it just through studying, YouTube wormholes? Like, how have you got to these? Because you say, oh, I don't know 90%, but yet the music you talk about, you do so eloquently, and you talk about it with a, well, I guess like an anthropological lens, perhaps. But you know, how is this journey driven forward?
I think it's 50-50, like 50% through friends showing you stuff. Like friends shown me Pink Floyd, Talking Heads, when I had no idea what that was. And those bands also influenced Yellow River Blue as well, this kind like dubby, and I mean Optimal, of course.
Yeah.
And so it's because you get taught about something, and of course we're all quite obsessive people because we love music.
I would imagine everyone in this room is driven
nice
by that
thing,
passion.
And the really nice thing about not knowing and not having this knowledge of what A is B, whatever, was that anything, it can excite me. And I get really excited about something. So that helps because, excitement, curiosity, it makes you want to go deeper and deeper. And so then you can hear that in my music and my DJ set. You can, I think, like, especially for people who like really know me quite well or know my music quite well, now they literally can pick up this new influence I have. Like today, like few hours from coming here, Masu Kent from Short Span Records, who I'm doing my next album with, he sent me a screenshot of Philip's review of the single I just put out.
Philip Chauvin.
Yeah. And he said that the B-side makes him think of Lee.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is...
The French producer. Yeah.
Like that. So that guy he's one of the person who I'm obsessed with right now. So you see, I'm obsessed, and I'll make something that's very influenced by this thing I'm obsessed with currently. And he really picked it up right away. Like, no one, I've never talked about Lee in any interview, nothing whatsoever. He heard exactly the person who influenced me so much. It's so interesting. I mean, he's also a genius.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I want to open it up to the crowd. Are you gonna play any of your own music?
I will. I'll play like one of the new. Okay, I will. He also said it's the driest clap he's heard in 10 years. Because it makes sense because I'm listening to music from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make music sound like from 20 years ago. Okay. Hopefully there's no ad. There is. So this is the B-side from a new single I just put out. That's gonna be on the album for next spring.
Finally got her to play one of her songs. One, it's nice to hear you finally play some of your music, but with the influences,
you hear it.
Yeah, definitely.
The Luciano.
And I think you were saying about kind of minimalism also, as well as kind of like shaping the, like the minimal composers, like, you know, Terry Riley, Steve Reich, influencing your Villa-Lobos and Lucianos, but also kind of like drawing from like African drumming and like, you know, kind of more traditional music. Is that something that you're, again, drawing the parallels to with like stuff like this, you know?
I think so, yeah. So still having quite organic sound design, even when it's dance music.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what a lot of these people are really good at is, you know, so much of Ricardo's music, it's very organic sounding. It's not completely, I mean, even if you listen to some like Plastic Man, you know, even when it's stuff that's completely made with hardware.
Or like 909, like.
Yeah, it can still, like Jeff Mills. Then you listen closely, but you see this is like, to make sense of these things, you really have to spend time and understand and sit with things. You can't just get it right away. I don't think that's how it works. Like with music, especially with electronic, the more abstract kind of electronic music, you really have to understand it. Take your time. You can't rush it. That's why I think with music making as well, I think your music can only start to sound authentic when you really understand. Well, first of all, you have to understand a lot of the fundamental, the historical context of certain music, but you also kind of have to understand who you really are, because otherwise you could, you know, this is the same thing with cooking, anything that we do in this world that's creative.
She's an amazing cook, by the way. She's got a
I'm an okay.
UC Cook series, which is an immersive cooking music experience.
So it's all the same thing. You learn the knowledge, so you learn how to do things. You know how to do all the technical things, but then you really have to understand who you are. Then otherwise you're only trying to do something someone else have done. You can only really do it once you really have understood yourself to a certain degree. Then you can blend influences together. Maybe.
I think that's a really beautiful place to end. It's like, I think it's very inspiring to hear someone with a fresh perspective, you know, contextualize all these things and draw influence on it. And I think for a room full of music makers, either in the room or watching online, that's like something I think we can all learn from. So everyone, please make some noise for you three. Do we have any questions? I think there's a microphone just here.
Thank you for the fascinating conversation. I was really struck by the earlier reference to Ursula K. Le Guin, and in the context of some of the more progressive influences on this music and context and anthropology. And I was wondering how much the sort of concept of utopia, heterotopia, spaces plays into this kind of music and the way that you see your music. Because like Le Guin was part of that sort of 1970s final boom of utopian writing. And in many ways, a lot of early techno was kind of a response to the same sort of influences and the same sort of progressions. And it's always really interesting to see that tradition stay alive in some form.
Yeah, for sure. I guess for me, this concept of utopia would maybe translate more through. So when I studied anthropology, I also studied Eastern religion. So I studied Taoism. So she translated that. So for me, it's kind of a way of maybe delivering what my understanding of Taoism is. So because to me, maybe Taoism and the whole metaphysics of it, that kind of is the utopia where everything gets just fluid into each other. It's always yin and yang existing with each other. If that makes sense. Yeah, because with music as well, then you think about music in the same context of it is about this it's intuition, it's metaphysical, and it's bigger than you, it's bigger than any of us. I hope that answers. It's abstract, but
Anyone else? Just stick your hand up, don't be shy. At the back there.
Hi, thank you for such a generous set of insights and for really walking us through your process. I thought the way you sort of described these different musical discoveries as like mind-blowing made me think of how you register and detect when you listen to something and it really moves something in you, and it sort of transforms from just something that you're hearing into something that really changes the way you want to make music, the way you approach your work, the way you just think about the form in general. And how would you describe how that's evolved over time, like your ability to really detect and name the things that really end up having a significant impact on you?
I think it's just being obsessive, because being obsessive, you really want to know how it works. You just won't stop until you know
How to make that sound, or
yeah, I think so. But then it's almost like once you get there and know exactly how that works, it's no longer about that anymore. So you actually
discovered something along the way.
or that it kind of like became what's a good metaphor? Like maybe that would become the stone that you step on to get to the next stone. I think that's maybe the best way to describe it. Of learning, once you learn, you don't necessarily even need to be doing that. That's just the vessel for you to get to the next place.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. I think so.
Hey, thanks for all your insights with your music career so far. I was wondering, because you have a classical training background, when you're composing music, how much of it is intentional relating to your musical background versus how much of it is actually felt? And the reason I'm asking this question is because I have no technical ability and I have no like musical theory training. So when I compose music, it's purely just on feel. So I'm just curious to know, how does that work with you when you're composing music?
That's so cool because I'm very jealous of you being able to just not control what machine does.
See,
I think we're all jealous of.
I'm jealous of you.
Incredible,
Yeah, I'm jealous of you.
Incredibly
Always, you always want what you don't have.
Grass is always greener. Yeah.
I think it really depends. It really depends because for a while I would. Well, some tracks on Yellow River Blue, if you listen to it, there are a lot of the arpeggio stuff and the sequence sounding parts were me playing it. I just played an arpeggio on the keyboard because I didn't know how to sequence arpeggio on a synthesizer. Like I could never use modular. I just can't because my brain's just not wired in a way where I see numbers and logical
LFOs.
And, I can't think like that. So I would rather. So sometimes if I think of some kind of arpeggio thing, I might just play it. But I am learning how to embrace machine, letting go with machine.
Do you mainly use Ableton, or do you have any hardware on?
Ableton is synthesizer. That's it.
Which synthesizer?
Right now, I use the thing called Mini Freak.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I think it's like one of the most incredible.
Is that an Arturia thing? Yeah.
Yeah, because you have really good sequencer, and through using that, I learned how like modulating works, how waveforms work as well. I tried really hard to learn modular when I worked at IntelliGel when I still lived in Vancouver, but all I ended up learning was soldering.
Soldering.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got really good at soldering. I was like, I couldn't understand the whole modular,
Yeah.
how it works. But you know what? Everything is still intentional. Like even if I play something that's more improvised set, it's still intentional because it comes out of you. So it's gonna be intentional, even though it's intuitive, because it all exists at the same time. Like that was, it's never one thing or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else? We've got time for one more. Over here.
Are you happy with your obsessiveness? Like, do you feel like it holds you back in any way? For example, you get tired, like you do a project and then you're kind of sick of it because you've been so deep in it. Or maybe it limits you from, at the time when you're in that obsession, maybe reaching into other forms of influence.
No, it's exciting because I know there's always going to be something else that I don't know. Like maybe metal music would be the next thing for me. Who knows? It could be anything. I'm always excited about anything, even something I hear on the radio. I got so excited listening to Billie Eilish recently. I listened to that, I was like, wow, I listened to it again, and trying to understand how is it so good? Why is it so catchy? Because if you think about it, pop music, even now, where most pop music is quite shit, there's still some good ones.
Yeah, of course.
And it's popular for a reason, even though it might be completely just like very dumb and simple. But going back to being simple, it's not easy. What's that song I like from her? Like Ocean Eyes, that one. You should listen to it. It's so genius. It's like
Have you heard the new Rosalia album?
Yes, it's about that too. So you see, like anything can be like, and I think also for anyone who, even the stuff you have listened to, stuff that you were listening to when you were 10 years old, 15 years old, whatever, like Oasis. I'm sure if you go back to it like 10 years from now, you would still hear new inspiration from it, because
I think a lot of people, including myself, revisited this summer because they played for the first time in years. And I'm like, wow, I love this music.
And you listen to it like, I know why I loved it at the time. Because everything, it all happened for a reason. And you like something for a reason. And that all contributes to who you are. So whatever you like and dislike, it's going to contribute to who you are at the end of the day.
There's no music hierarchy. It's about context.
Exactly. Yeah.
I actually wrote that line down when you said it. I'm like, that is so beautiful. And I think there's another good place to end. So thank you for being such an attentive crowd. Thank you to you two for the amazing talk. And I believe we're going to play some more demos, works in progress. And stick around, talk to each other. This is what CDR's for. So yeah, big up.